Hey people, Intrid here, 1v1 Green Tooth Jungle Redux. Blue side, we've got SuperHooper as a Plague Champion, starts off range combat with a damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. And up against, on the red side, is Hive Minion as a Hive Tyrant, very good offense, and also support and disrupt. Begins with a basic synapse, walk through objects and cannot be suppressed. A big chunky, tanky alien fella. SuperHooper straight into a second Heretic squad after his CSM, and Hive Minion with double Termagants, Hive Tyrant and double Termagants. Really strong opening in team games since they're all together, but it's the Hive Tyrant that has to lumber around and try and make himself useful early game. It's not going to be easy because everything's just going to run away from him and he's going to take range damage like this. No cap game so far. Bit of an odd map. The natural VP is actually quite far away from the corresponding player in the northwest and southeast, and it's a central VP2. Pretty good 1v1 map. Would like to see it played a bit more than the usual Caldarius and Green Tooth Gorge, please. CSM and Plague Champion versus the entire Tyranid army. Here come Hormagaunts, double Termagants, and that Hive Tyrant to move in and tie up CSM. He's basically made for tying up Marines in first engagement. They can't really do anything to him in melee combat early on. 483, 500, he's going straight after the Plague Champion. In fact, Plague Champion starts off with absolutely pathetic melee damage. So in my opinion, it's better to send your Hormagaunts after him, because CSM will probably peel models off the Hormagaunts, whereas they won't peel models off the Hive Tyrant, obviously. Hormagaunts going after them, and he does drop a model. In fact, there's a Blight Grenade, does hit the Hormagaunts but not flush in the center. You see them now with that damage over time, and that will spread. I'm not exactly sure what the mechanics are for it spreading. I'm not if it's just proximity or what. Lively engagement. Heretics moving in for a Doom Blaster and running off, and a Plague Champion now in retreat. So Hive Minion did reasonably well there. Only one squad forced off Termagants, losing 5 of their models, and he already has a Warrior Brood up, heavy infantry that leap into melee combat with power weapons, 18 DPS per model, and they also provide a basic synapse of their own, so you can perhaps split off your double Termagants with your warriors and keep your Hormagaunts alongside your Hive Tyrant. SuperHooper going to try and get a couple of those Blight Grenade throws off. Really cheap piece of war gear, 100 rec, 20 power, and can do wonders early on. But once you start seeing specialized synapse in tier 2, it's not going to make models drop left and right. It'll still do damage, of course, and help you drop models, but it's so devastating in tier 1 if you land it flush. You have Heretics with grenade launchers. You get 4 in the squad, the other 4 with those auto guns. You can see them firing. And there is the Seismic Roar from the Rending Talon, 75 DPS melee weapon with an awesome air effect ability that you just saw there. It's knocked back a big chunk of damage and then damage over time. So basically, you don't want to engage this guy with Heretics now, especially default Heretics, and a nice Blight Grenade there. So that's a good response from SuperHooper. Meanwhile though, Warriors have crept up this south side and capped the VP. Now going to cap that wreck point. Plague Champion levels to 2 because of that Blight Grenade doing its thing. Hive Tyrant's Rending Talons, really cheap war gear as well, only 20 power for this thing. It's really good, you can get it really early on and surprise Banshees and Heretics and Sluggers and stuff with it. CSM on capping duty, yes, they do have their Eternal War. I think I would have kept these guys without their Eternal War and used them to cap, because they're going to do pretty good 1v1 versus Hormagaunts, even with Eternal War. But Hormagaunts they do have their adrenal gland, so that is a pretty risky engagement for the CSM. Havoc's on the field with a heavy bolter to suppress units, and it suppresses almost instantly, but not for long it seems. Next update, the courage damage of the heavy bolter is going to get toned down quite a lot, it seems, at different ranges, and courage is what drives the suppression mechanic in Dawn of War 2. Each unit has courage, and once you have no courage, you are suppressed, apart from the units that can't be suppressed, of course, such as the Hive Tyrant. He's too big and hungry to get suppressed by anything. There is the Havoc doing its thing. They did take down one of the generators, instantly replaced, and a retreat grenade hits reasonably well. Can he kill some models on retreat? Didn't actually fire at them with the Plague Champion, who is good at killing models in retreat because of the damage over time. And if you combine that with the damage over time from the Black Grenade, you can drop models quite nicely. Termagants both with the Toxin Sacks now. That should keep these heretics under control, also boost their damage and health. Warrior Brood, no sign of the Barb Strangler, which I'm a huge fan of in a lot of pretty much all matchups really. It is 25 power though. What do we see in terms of power? 2 gens up and triple up for SuperHooper, and big decision now from hiveminion. Does he get... oh, he already has the extended carapace. There's a decision made. So he's going to try and charge down these Havocs, and SuperHooper not going for a second Havoc. He's going into tier 2. Some bloodletters perhaps. The good thing about fighting Tyranids, if there is anything good about it, is you can go for a very heavy tier 2 without being afraid of vehicles hitting the field tier 2 early on. I suppose the Tyrant Guard could be considered a vehicle, but you can take it down with regular weapons, especially plasma weapons and power weapons do a lot of damage. Heretics were wiped there, but what was that wiped? A Formagaunt's wiped by the really nicely placed Black Grenade, and look at the damage it's doing to that Warrior Brood as well. So a loss on both sides. Those Heretics, I think, were default though, and those Formagaunts had Adrenal Glands, so that's a win, I would say, for SuperHooper. Also got a bunch of XP for his Plague Champion, who goes for Armor of Pestilence. Not what I was expecting. It slows him down, and it's a relatively large map, though you can just use your Plague Champion to patrol the VP and this power, I suppose, so his lack of mobility won't hinder him too much. Use the rest of your army to push elsewhere. CSM, he might just be waiting now to see if hiveminion gets a Tyrant Guard. In fact, he's just going straight for Marco Zinch. I thought he might wait for the Tyrant Guard, and if he doesn't see a Tyrant Guard, get Bloodletters, but he's going straight for Marco Zinch CSM, who do a lot of damage to the super heavy infantry armor of the Tyrant Guard with the Inferno damage of the Inferno Bolts. hiveminion, very much known for getting Tyrant Guard on the field in team games. Not sure if he uses them in 1v1s, we will see. We have triple gens, and it's a big decision here. Does he go for the zone throat? Put a lot of pressure on the CSM and the Heretics and that Havoc. I think if he sees the CSM with Marco Zinch, he will get the zone throat. Havocs have the autocannon, which is outrageously painful for the Havocs. Well, the Havoc autocannon, I should say, not for the Havocs, for whatever they're shooting at. 387, 454. SuperHooper is looking a little bit thin now, and it is a Tyrant Guard on the way for hiveminion. So now he has 2 units that can charge down this Havoc and stop it firing that very painful Markov Korn weapon. He needs to tie up these Marco Zinch guys though, because look at that damage on the Hive Tyrant. That is nuts. With the damage over time from the Plague Champion as well, that was scary. He was forced off very quickly and throws a Black Grenade on his own units almost. Not sure why he did that. 60, is it a 60-second cooldown, I think? I'm not sure, it might be 30. He's capped this VP and he's gone for Adrenal Gland Warriors, even though he lost his Hormagaunts. I really do think the Barb Strangler would have served him a lot better. Could shut down these Chaos Space Marines pretty much, hard counter them with that Barb Strangler, since they'd be firing so very slowly, as suppressed constantly if they would fire at all in the engagement. Here is the Tyrant Guard, super heavy infantry armor, 2,500 hit points of it. Can use a shield wall which grants it vehicle armor, but it can't move and gain some health regen. It can also charge into combat and has a lot of damage as well, as you'd expect from looking at the thing. Does, I think, is 90 something heavy melee with a 15 heavy melee splash. That's 90 something DPS with a 15 splash per hit. So it is pretty painful, and if you're up against assault marines or any kind of jump troop or indeed a dedicated melee squad, it can do wonders for you, especially if it gets off its special attack, which is pretty good. It's a cone and a quick animation and a big chunk of damage as well. Plague Champion has his Plague Fist. I'm pretty sure you cannot stun the Tyrant Guard with it. So, did he spot this Warrior Brood? Might be. He's got a double Tyrant Guard in a 1v1 Hive Minion. Awesome. Plague Marines on the field. So, yeah, this is going to be dicey because the Plague Marines will snare the Tyrant Guard, I should say. They won't do a lot of damage to it, but they will snare it, allowing these Marquezine CSM to do tons of damage. Has he even seen one of them? I'm sure he knows that Hive Minion likes to use them in team games. What was he expecting to? Havoc's covering this approach, going to start firing upon the Hive Tyrant, who's not... Oh, he does use his charge. I would have saved it for the CSM that you're no doubt going to run into. Takes out a model, which he probably wouldn't have done if he didn't charge there. So there is that. Here on the double Tyrant Guard. Look at the damage from the Marquezine CSM on the Warriors. He's getting them in all sorts of trouble there. Wow. I haven't seen any supportive structures from the Hive Tyrant yet. It does have the Brood Nest and of course the Capillary Tower, which all Tyranid commanders get. Why is he going after the heretics? He wants to shut down that Nurgle worship. Obviously, I suppose he does have double Tyrant Guard to tie up both of these squads. Warrior Brood just hanging around. He needs to retreat them, I think. Yeah, really should have gone for the Barbed Strangler. I think 387, 354, going for a Zone Throat now. Double Tyrant Guard and Zone Throat. That is a scary, scary tier 2. I would have gone for Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers are freaking awesome, and he's got that Warrior Brood already up. Alongside double Tyrant Guard and a charging Hive Tyrant, that would have been awesome. But he's gone for the Zone Throat. This Tyrant Guard getting low. Plague Champion's been working on him. It's a 71 DPS heavy melee Power Fist, so not quite as killy as the other Power Fists in the game, which are all 85 DPS, I believe, the Commissar Lords and the Force Commanders, but it does have the awesome Pestilent Strike. And he's got 1349 hit points, level 3 with the Armour of Pestilence, not bad. Been starting to use the Armour of Pestilence alongside the sword a lot more often myself because of the new health increase you get from the sword. It now gives plus 70 hit points. So at level 1, with sword and Armour of Pestilence, you are pretty damn tough. Especially if you get that Mucus Discharge as well, and the sword is just so awesome at just killing the crap out of stuff. There's a Brood Nest. Why has he put it right near his base? I would have put it a little bit further up perhaps, but there we go. No sign of a Capillary Tower, which do help your Tyrant Guard quite a lot. This turret is floating. Is it? Seems to be. Definitely is. 387, 302, or whatever the Tyranid things are called. Nodes. 2 to 1. Going to be really difficult to get a triple cap on this map, I think. Plague Champion level 3 now, and he's looking pretty dangerous with this fist, just because you can use that Pestilent Strike and shut down the Warriors if they get close. And the Hive Tyrant, of course, you can stun this big guy. Termagant's taking damage over time from the Plague Marines. The Blight Grenade misses, thrown into those trees. There's that Nurgle Worship boosting the health regeneration of your infantry, and it's supposed to give extra health regeneration to demons now, but it's not apparently working. That'll be fixed for the next update. 387, 271. Plague Champion moving into the Warriors is exactly what he wants to do. No, goes after the Termagants. Now he changes his mind, but he's been crippled. Here comes a Tyrant Guard, the other one slowly making its way up. They are so slow outside of Synapse, which is why the towers help them out a lot. He's forced off the CSM and the Heretics, and there's the Pestilent Strike. Not only does it stun, it gives you a massive amount of damage resistance to range. I think it's 80% or something crazy. Oh look, he passed on the Blight Grenade infection to these Termagants. How grand of him. There's a Capillary Tower now, right in the middle. Would have put it a bit further back. But his Zone Throat is going to make a difference here. He needs to put his shield down so he can regenerate his energy. Won't regenerate while the shield is up. tier 3 for both players. SuperHooper biding his time then to get into tier 3, and is he going straight for a great unclean one here? Seriously? That's very brave. 386, 247. So those double Tyrant Guard will do a lot of damage to a great unclean one. Super heavy infantry does take less damage from normal melee, so the Rend Talons won't be great. Havocs would have been better off keeping the heavy bolter to suppress those double termagants. I don't feel like the autocannon's done a whole lot. Better against blobs of stuff, of course, not single targets. Really dangerous versus blobs of stuff. Plague Marines, I should say, getting that snaring missile on the Tyrant Guard, but the other one runs in and ties them up, and there's another very good Blight Grenade throw. There is that Brood Nest. Is that another one? He has put another one further up, as you can see, and another Capillary Tower further back. Tyrant Guard pushing alongside Warrior Brood, and no, Tyrant Guard do not get the benefit of melee synapse. They do get the benefit of synapse, but not specialized synapse, because that would make them ridiculous. They have like 3,000, over 3,000 hit points at level 1. Warrior Brood tying up Plague Marines, is that a good idea? They'll explode when they die, which could kill one of the warriors. It really could, because they're taking damage also. And look at that, he put Touch of Nurgle on his Plague Marines, which can do outrageous amounts of damage when they die. But I'm not sure if he spotted it or he just retreated anyway. And there is that Touch of Nurgle explosion on the Plague Marines. Wow. No sign of Chosen. Oh, look at. Oh no, he's got more Plague Marines. I thought he was getting some Chosen Plague Marines, but they are just called in, aren't they? I wonder how Chosen do versus a Tyrant Guard. They have power melee, and that damage over time will be stacking up like crazy, and they're tough. So I wonder how they do, especially if you have Marquis CSM backing them up. Carnifex on the way for Hive Minion. SuperHooper with Great and Clean One, and more Plague Marines. 358, 247. Now what can he do? Pretty sure you can snare the Great and Clean One with the Focus Warp Blast. Double Tyrant Guards have done well, haven't leveled up, haven't killed a massive amount of stuff, but they've continuously forced off SuperHooper, who has, look at this, he's stolen Hive Minion's natural. In fact, both the naturals changing hands. Can you even call these naturals? I think so. 358, 247, 1-to-1 cap. And SuperHooper retaking mid, so it's going to be a 2-to-1 all said and done for SuperHooper once both the naturals have changed hands again. Current guards are healed up. Now back out a shield wall, allowing it to recharge so they can use it again if they need to. And he's going to put pressure on his VP. SuperHooper's going to try and head him off with some Marquis CSM and the original, no, the second Plague Marine squad. The original Plague Marine squad almost level 2. Hive Tyrant retakes his natural. 358, 242. And he does have heretic support for that big Great and Clean One. And he's committing here. Hive Minion is committing. Hive Tyrant is not making his way over, and the Carnifex is going towards him. Must have put the rally point on his commander. So he's missing out on the Carnifex's presence big time. Needs to move it. In fact, he is moving his Hive Tyrant and his Carnifex over. But this is a dead Tyrant Guard as it goes into shield wall. Plague Marine is tied up, so they can't fire their missiles. And it might live here. It might live. No, it doesn't. Great and Clean One and the autocannon have enough damage between them to finish it off. Warrior Brood getting absolutely wrecked by the Marquis CSM. Need to run away. There we go. 358, 214. And he should not have engaged there, because that was SuperHooper's entire army. And he didn't have his Carnifex or his Hive Tyrant over here. It's a Thornback Carnifex, which does a fantastic job against the Great and Clean One in a 1v1 fight now because of the melee resistance that it has. 358, 201. It's also doing heavy melee damage, of course, so it's doing full damage to the Great and Clean One, whereas the Great and Clean One's heavy melee damage will only do 50% to the vehicle armor of the Carnifex. He gives up attacking the Tyrant Guard and needs to back away, it seems. Here comes the Plague Champion moving in. Goes after the Carnifex, does he? Yes. Hive Minion needs to be careful here. Doesn't want to lose these two guys. Needs to get the Tyrant Guard out. I think Carnifex charges away. Can he charge out the Tyrant Guard? He does have a Zone Throat sitting pretty. Needs to focus down the Marquezine CSM whenever he can with a Zone Throat, I think. Maybe even try and focus down these Heretics. But not when they're worshipping like that. 358, 170. It spreads them out, so the Zone Throat won't do its damage on all of the models. Rushing Claw now for the Hive Tyrant. Very expensive weapon. 200 rec, 50 power. 108 heavy melee DPS though. Pretty outrageous. And he's going to go to town on that Greater Daemon when he can. It might be worth him just charging down those CSM though, because he did lose the Tyrant Guard. He's in trouble now. Wow, I didn't think he lost it. Lost his warriors as well. He's in a lot more trouble than I thought. He's capping with Termagants. Really should have got the Barbed Strangler, I think. And if he didn't get the Barbed Strangler, should have got Gene Stealers, because Gene Stealers are freaking awesome. 355, 152. SuperHooper's game to lose. He's going to have a triple against him though, and Hive Minion has a reasonable amount of resources. Could get a Doom of Manatai, which would be great pretty soon. That's got to be his next purchase, surely. It's 500 rec, 90 power, and that, I think that's set to go up to, I think it's 125 power or 120 or something in the next update. So he's going to be a lot more expensive. And there is the Doom of Manatai on the way. A kind of super sub-commander. Can't level up and limited to 1. And really good for dealing with blobs of heavy and super heavy infantry, including this Grey and Clean one. Paroxysm really hurts this guy and the Avatar too. 296, 152. A single cap for Hive Minion. He has SuperHooper's natural CSM. Are going to finish the cap, are they? Yes, they are. Not far enough away. Do they lose a model though? They don't lose a model. Good grief, level 2. You have a Nurgle Shrine now being worshipped, I believe, so it's going to suppress nearby enemies, heal nearby allies, and allow you to reinforce if you worship it. Is it being worshipped though? No, it's not being worshipped. He's actually doing regular worship. You can tell because all these green hexagons from the health regeneration. He's doing that so he can heal up his Great and Clean one, which I'm pretty sure is not healed by the shrine, which is unfortunate for the Great and Clean one. 291, 138. Carnifex charges in, and that charge does do damage. Goes straight after the Havocs. Rippers spawned. Can he finish them off? I should have swung again. He would have finished them off. There is the Paroxysm from the Doom of Malantai. 291, 131. Grand Clean one. Wow, look how much damage he took there. That was nuts. Rippers are taken out, but they're just a distraction. And Plague Marines now being tied up. There is another Plague Marine squad firing. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to look at his zone throw. It's pretty low. He could get foul snared here and finish it off. Not seen him use it yet. Plague Marines knocked back and damaged by the Cataclysm. That's an Imperial Abyss, which almost wipes out both the Termagants. One squad does get away. Lots of dead stuff. Either way, the Doom of Manatai and the Zone Throw do get away, but they're both forced off the field. And now SuperHooper is going to keep this 2-1. Might even be able to sneak a triple with everything forced off. Tier 3 Lictor on the field for Hive Minion. I think he needs to try and ignore the Great and Clean one. Try and ignore it. It's not an easy thing to do. But his Plague Marine is a massive pain in the arse, keeping that Carnifex snared. Lictor. This guy's mad. It's 1250 hit points, level 1. Almost 100 DPS heavy melee. Infiltration that doesn't drain energy. A leap and a flesh hook. Pretty crazy sub-commander this guy, but he's in a very, very strong Tyranid tier 3, so Carnifex is usually the order of the day with the odd Doom of Manatai thrown in. Amazing, amazing sub-commander though. Plague Marines are going to start firing at him when he's revealed. Once he starts capping, there is the reveal. He will take less damage from ranged attacks while he is infiltrated. Wow, that's a direct hit from the missile there. That's pretty unlucky. Hive Tyrant's going to try and decap. Maybe he should go for the Psychic Scream as well. Doom Malachite needs to regain some energy using Absorb Life or Spirit Leech. Hive Tyrant, I don't think he's going to be able to finish this cap. He might be able to, in fact. Charging through with Extended Carapace just to disrupt things so he can run. Where's the paroxysm? There it is. But you need to follow it up. It's not as outrageous as it was when the Doom Malachite first came into being, but it's still pretty bad. There's Cataclysm, that's going to get some buffs. Cataclysm going to get a slight damage increase and cooldown decrease, I think. Or is it a range increase or something like that? Going to be buffed either way. Plague Marines might just sit here now and try and protect that thing. Hive Minion not that far away from getting another Carnifex. 282, 66. Nurgle Shrine might go down here and he might retake mid. There's the Cataclysm on retreating Heretics. Doesn't quite finish him off. Have they leveled? He's got level 3 Heretics. There we go. Needs to take mid now. Needs to take it now. And send some stuff over here as well. And needs VP pressure on SuperHooper. Make him make decisions. If he just takes mid and sits here, SuperHooper knows he just needs to come mid and fight back. Or maybe send his CSM down here. Does he want his CSM around? I suppose they do put a lot of pressure on the Zone Thrope and the Doom Malachite. 282, 46. Doom Malachite, of course, losing its shield in 2.3. No longer can put that thing up. Lictor needs to just decap, I think. Stop trying to fight them. 282, 46. Decap and then fight them. Takes one down. You might just want to wipe them out there. Hive Tyrant taking tons of damage now. Level 3. There's the cloud of flies. Hive Tyrant's going to go down. There's Paroxysm though. Stop focusing down the Great Unclean One. Look, he's firing at it with his Zone Thrope. He needs to fight with this blob of stuff. Probably should have put Paroxysm on this blob of stuff as well. Does force it off though with the Carnifex. So if that stuff was firing, it might have wiped something. 263, 46. Plague Champion is on capping duty. There's Absorb Life, draining his health. He might have got his energy drained as well, looking at his energy. Foul Snare on the Doom Malachite. Can he finish it off? I don't think so. That's a special attack on the Lone Ripper. Well done, Great Unclean One. What's this? Lictor has forced off those Plague Marines and is now decapping. 263, 42. Plague Champion has capped those, so he's got the 2-to-1. And SuperHooper was floating resources like crazy. Doesn't have the population to get something tasty on the field. Can it, I think, is a tank 15 pop or is it 8? I think it's 18. And Terminators are 21, so you can't get them. Just sacrifice your heretics, I think. Well, maybe not. He wants to keep his Great Unclean One alive. Just don't reinforce your Plague Marines and try and get some Terminators in there. Another Carnifex on the way. Thornback Carnifex is, of course, going to get nerfed. Going to get a bunch less health. In fact, they get, I think it's, yes, plus 575 with Thornback. That's going to go down to plus 300. But they are going to take up less pop. So, an interesting change for those guys. In direct reaction, I think, to their very, very good performance with melee resistance, especially against those super melee units like the Great Unclean One and the Avatar. 208, 38, triple cap for Hive Minion. There's Paroxysm, and look at the damage to those Havocs. They're level 3 as well. Oh, one more volley from both of those guys and that might be in a dead squad. Double Plague Marines coming to cap. Nurgle Buddies. 181, 38. Plague Champion. Lictor out. Lictor just going to sit here and wait for him to leave, I think, and then decap it. Why did he use Special Strike? Well, now he's going in. Waited for him to use Special Strike, did he? No. Very little power harass. It's difficult to get to it, isn't it? Because this massive central area is in the way. Really nice map though, liking it. Wish me it was played a bit more. 167, 37. Plague Marines allowed to finish the cap there. That was a little bit sloppy from Hive Minion. Trying to decap with Termagants, and Plague Marines don't do a lot of damage to infantry, so they should be able to finish that. Level 2 Termagants tanking double Plague Marines here pretty easily as well. Second Carnifex is another Thornback he's gone for. There's a Chaos Predator with Mark of Corn. There's a dead Carnifex. Down it goes. Level 3, the first one is still going, and that's a Torrent formation. That's pretty nicely placed. And those guys are lucky they retreated. I'm pretty sure retreat does reduce the damage of Torrent formation. Does it? And maybe it doesn't. Lictor needs to be careful. 159.28 is going to lose it. Down it goes. And Hive Minion lost pretty much everything. There's a GG. 155.28. He was distracted by those double Plague Marines who were able to force everything off there. That is durability for you. And there's the concede from Hive Minion. SuperHooper takes it. Pretty cool 1v1 Nurgle versus Tyranids. Always awesome to see. Plague Champion was what, level 5. Hive Tyrant was level 4. A few composition mistakes I think from Hive Minion. Should have got the Barb Strangler up instead of the Adrenal Glands, especially when he saw those Marcos each CSM. But he played it balls out, as it were, as he usually does, going double Turret Guard and charging into engagements, which he probably shouldn't have a few times, especially this one around here where he charged in without his Hive Tyrant and his Carnifex, which cost him dearly. There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.